Most people think that the more health checkups they get, the safer they'll be. But what if I told you that once you cross 70, certain medical tests that look routine and harmless could actually do more damage than good? Millions of seniors walk into clinics every year, believing they're protecting their health, when in reality some of those tests may push them closer to surgery, stroke, or even cancer. New research shows that up to 37% of tests done on older adults lead to unnecessary treatments, dangerous complications, or lifelong side effects. And here's the shocking part: almost every senior over 70 has no idea this is happening. One of these tests alone has been linked to 5% of all cancers in the United States. That's the same number of cases caused by drinking alcohol every single day. You won't hear this warning in your doctor's office or see it on a hospital poster, but the truth is buried in the science, and today we are bringing it into the light. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could protect you or someone you love from pain that never had to happen. Let's start with a test that seems completely harmless: the bone density scan. It's quick, painless, and marketed as a simple way to check your risk for fractures. But here's the problem. After age 70, almost every scan comes back showing some form of bone loss, even when it's not dangerous. That's because losing bone density with age is as natural as getting wrinkles or grey hair. Yet thousands of seniors are put on heavy-duty medications like bisphosphonates, drugs that sound like protection but often come with ugly side effects: severe reflux, inflammation, even a rare condition where the jawbone starts to die. And the benefits? Almost non-existent. A large study of women over 70 found that these drugs reduced fractures by only 0.3% after 5 years. That's not nothing, but it's a tiny trade-off compared to the damage they can cause. Let me tell you about Rose, a 76-year-old piano teacher. Her scan showed mild bone loss. She was put on medication, and within 3 months she developed such painful reflux that she stopped playing piano altogether. When she was switched to vitamin D, resistance exercises, and a calcium-rich diet, she didn't just recover, she came back stronger, with 0 fractures. The lesson? At this age, lifestyle changes beat medication for most people. Don't let a scary number on a scan rob you of your quality of life. Now let's talk about memory. If you're over 70 and find yourself forgetting names or misplacing your keys, chances are your doctor might suggest a brain MRI. Sounds like the smart move, right? In reality, most MRIs in older adults show things like tiny white spots or mild shrinkage that are completely normal for age. But once a scan shows those changes, fear kicks in. Patients panic, doctors order more invasive tests, and sometimes even brain surgery is suggested, all without improving memory at all. A massive review found that out of thousands of MRIs in seniors with mild forgetfulness, only 3% revealed something that could actually be treated. That means 97% of people were scared for no reason, and many went through dangerous procedures they didn't need. George, a 74-year-old retired engineer, went through this exact nightmare. An MRI suggested changes that made him think he was heading straight into dementia. He stopped driving, quit his community activities, and lived in constant fear. But when his memory was tested properly on paper, it turned out he was perfectly normal for his age. Once he focused on sleep, hydration, and brain exercises, his memory steadied and his confidence returned. Unless there are major warning signs like seizures or sudden dramatic changes, a simple cognitive test is usually the smarter, safer first step than rushing into a scan. Next comes the cardiac stress test, one of the most overused procedures in seniors. You either walk on a treadmill or get a drug that makes your heart race, while doctors look for blocked arteries. But here's the catch: in people over 70, the false alarm rate is massive. Studies show up to 40% of stress tests in this age group point to problems that don't actually exist. And once that happens, it's a slippery slope into angiograms, stents, or even bypass surgery, all of which carry big risks. One major study showed that over half the stents placed in seniors after stress tests were unnecessary, giving patients no added years of life or better quality of living. What they did get were kidney injuries, bleeding, and long hospital stays. That's exactly what happened to Raymond, a 75-year-old who felt a little tired climbing hills. A stress test flagged something questionable. He was rushed into a catheterization, and a stent was placed. But the dye used damaged his kidneys, and he spent nearly a week in the hospital. His fatigue didn't improve, because the problem was never his heart in the first place. If you don't have classic symptoms like chest pain or shortness of breath on exertion, then safer alternatives like a resting EKG or a coronary calcium scan may be a better choice. And now comes one of the most controversial tests of all, the colonoscopy. For decades it's been called the gold standard in cancer prevention. But after 70, and especially after 75, the risks start outweighing the rewards. The preparation itself is punishing. Harsh laxatives that dehydrate the body, stress the kidneys, and leave many seniors weak. The sedation used during the procedure can trigger memory issues or confusion in older adults. And the test itself carries risks like bleeding, tearing of the colon, or dangerous heart rhythm changes. A huge study of more than 1 million seniors found that for every life saved by colonoscopy past 75, 10 people suffered serious harm. Take Dana, a 73-year-old grandmother who had no symptoms and no family history of colon cancer. Her doctor urged her into a colonoscopy anyway. A tiny polyp was removed, but the procedure tore her bowel. She ended up in the hospital for 9 days and never fully regained her strength. She had already had 2 clean colonoscopies before that. It was never needed. Guidelines now recommend stopping routine colonoscopies at 75 unless there are clear warning signs. Non-invasive stool tests done at home are often safer, easier, and almost as effective. Finally, we come to the most dangerous and overhyped checkup of them all, the full-body CT scan. Marketed as a high-tech way to catch cancer early, these scans expose you to massive doses of radiation, the equivalent of hundreds of chest X-rays in a single sitting. For older adults, the harm far outweighs any potential benefit. Studies now suggest that CT scans may actually cause up to 5% of all cancers in the United States. Imagine that. A test designed to save lives is creating cancers on the same scale as alcohol consumption. The real danger is not just the radiation but the chain reaction of fear that follows. Scans often pick up harmless little nodules or cysts that come with age. But once they're seen, the alarm bells go off. More scans, more biopsies, and sometimes even surgeries follow, all for something that may never have caused a problem in the first place. But Marcus, an active 80-year-old martial arts teacher, fell into this trap. A full-body scan revealed a tiny lung nodule. He went through further scans, then a biopsy, which collapsed part of his lung. It turned out to be benign. He lost 2 months of his life to hospital recovery, all for something that never needed attention. Experts are clear. Full-body CT scans should never be used as routine screening in people with no symptoms. They do far more harm than good. So what does this all mean? Modern medicine is powerful, but more testing isn't always better. After 70, some tests cross the line from protective to harmful. Bone density scans, brain MRIs for mild memory loss, stress tests without symptoms, routine colonoscopies, and especially full-body CT scans can all put you at risk of complications you never needed. The key is to ask one simple question before agreeing to any checkup. If this test finds something, what happens next? Will it improve my quality of life, or could it lead me down a path of treatments that don't help but could harm? Prevention doesn't always mean more machines and more scans. Real prevention starts with lifestyle. Staying active, eating nutritious foods, building strength and balance, sleeping well, and keeping your mind engaged will do more for your long-term health than any test ever could. Remember, your body is not a ticking time bomb waiting to be scanned. It's resilient, adaptive, and capable of thriving when treated right. Less testing can sometimes mean more living.